Hello everyone. Today we are diving into a fascinating and often controversial group within Islam, namely the Ahmadiyya movement.
Now, what is the main thing that separates the Ahmadiyya community from the Sunnis? In India, within the last couple of hundred years, there arose a leader who was a Sunni and who was a defender of Islam against many critics, and he debated with people of other faiths. Eventually, he began to claim that he is the second coming of Jesus.
If you are curious about who they are, what they believe, and why they are so often at the center of debate, then this video is for you. Stick around because we are going to explore it all. For more in-depth information, you can check out my book, Ask Your Muslim Friend, where I cover this topic in section 1.6.5. So who are the Ahmadiyya? The Ahmadiyya movement began in the late 19th century when a Muslim leader named Mirza Ghulam Ahmad from Qadian, India, declared himself the new reformer of Islam. He didn't stop there. He also claimed to be the promised Messiah, the Mahdi, and even a new prophet. In 1879, while in Qadian, Punjab in India, he publicly announced that he was the promised Mahdi, a messianic figure in Islam. This proclamation laid the foundation for what we know now as the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Thus, he considered himself a new emissary of Allah and became the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim group. What do we know about this leader of the Ahmadiyyas? Now, here is where it gets really interesting. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad originally defended Islam against Christian missionaries by writing books. Naturally, this has led Ahmadi Muslims to develop new theories that often contradict Christian beliefs but support Islamic teachings. Unlike Sufism, which is more mystical, the Ahmadiyya movement takes a rational approach to religion. Despite being a relatively small group, the Ahmadiyya have a global presence. They claim to have offices in over 200 countries with a membership of over 200 million people. So how do other Muslims view the Ahmadiyya? Most mainstream Muslims groups consider their beliefs heretical and outside the fold of Islam. In countries like Pakistan, Ahmadi Muslims face severe persecution, forcing many to seek refuge in Western countries where religious freedom is protected. Unlike Sunni and Shia Islam, the Ahmadiyyas are committed to spreading their version of Islam peacefully worldwide. Their beliefs also set them apart. They reject the virgin birth of Jesus and his sinless nature. They deny Jesus' death on the cross, promoting the so-called swoon theory instead. They believe Jesus migrated to India, where he lived, married, and died a natural death. They even claim to have found his grave in Kashmir. The founder and leader of the Ahmadiyyas claimed to have fulfilled the prophecy of the return of Jesus. He was to bring the followers of all religions under the banner of Islam. Now, let us briefly mention the disagreement within the Ahmadiyya group. Two movements split into two sections in 1914 over the questions of the finality of prophethood. First, the Lahore Ahmadiyya movement affirmed the orthodox Islamic interpretation that there could be no new prophet after Muhammad, and thus viewed itself just as a new reform movement within the broader Ummah. Secondly, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community believes that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was indeed a new Islamic prophet after Muhammad. However, by this, they make themselves heretical in the eyes of most other Muslims who consider Muhammad as the final prophet. Despite these differences, Ahmadi Muslims share the core practices of Islam, such as prayer, fasting, charity. However, they also have distinct beliefs, such as they argue that the Quran has no contradictions and takes precedence over hadith, rejecting any hadith that contradicts the Quran. Thus, the Ahmadi reject the concept of abrogation. Then also they have their own version of the Quran, which differs in many certain details from Sunni version. Next, they believe Jesus survived the crucifixion and that he predicted the coming of Muhammad in the Bible's Gospel of John, chapters 14 to 16. Ahmadis believe that the jihad is for the defense of Islam only, not for use in political conflict or any use of Islamic armies to invade neighboring territories. When it comes to women, the Ahmadi movement stands out. First, they emphasize the importance of educating women, believing that a nation's success depends on it. They encourage women to participate in sports and train them in interreligious dialogue. Women, like men, are encouraged to be actively involved in their communities, though always within the framework of Islamic teachings. I have had some interesting experiences with Ahmadiyya Muslims, and here's what I've learned. If you are a Christian engaging with Ahmadiyya Muslims, know your Bible well. They often quote it through sometimes out of context. Their arguments are built on both biblical and Quranic verses, but there's usually a weak point in their logic. Identifying this can make for an enlightening discussion. Be prepared for long, intense discussions. Set a clear start and end time to manage the conversation effectively. Ahmadiyya Muslims enjoy lengthy discussions, but in most cases they can't have peaceful dialogue with Sunni or Shia Muslims, since they might respond with violence. I will never forget an Ahmadiyya leader telling me after a discussion, he said, "It is wonderful to meet you Christian people, since we cannot meet in peace and listen to each other and even have an argument, but in the end we can depart in peace and look forward to the next meeting." We cannot have such dialogue with Sunni Muslims, since they get angry and would attack us after discussion or would even burn our cars or houses. To Christians who like to engage in conversation with Ahmadiyyas, I want to give the following advice. First, learn to listen carefully and make notes of their sayings and references. Secondly, ask good questions. Thirdly, if you do not know the answers for their questions immediately, tell them that you will go home, study and will do appropriate research, and then you will meet them again. Fourth point, give them a Bible and adequate Christian literature to study. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had any experiences with Ahmadiyya Muslims? What do you think about their beliefs? Do you see them as sect, or do they fall within the broader umbrella of Islam? If you are a Muslim, how do you perceive their views on Jesus and prophethood? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear what you think. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. If you have any questions or want to dive deeper into this topic, leave them in the comments and I will be happy to respond. You can also find more detailed information in my book, available for free download on our website. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and God bless.